Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous start to your week this wonderful Monday morning. Today, I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. So let's get started with the very first question from Felicia Zhang. My question, LV Twist, Chanel Boy, or Diorama? Which one would you choose if you could only buy one from them and why? Well, out of all of them, I actually have the Chanel Boy bag. And you know what? They score major points with me because it's the original design of the fashion house. So for originality, I would pick the Chanel Boy. Deborah Gagliato. If you can only shop one luxury brand for your entire life, which one would you choose? This is a hard question. I got some tough ones this week too. So be prepared to get me stumped. Okay, so my entire life. So it's probably safe to say that within 20 years, Chanel bags will end up costing maybe a pair of lungs. So since I need those to live, obviously Chanel isn't going to be in the picture. But no, in all honesty, it'd probably be Louis Vuitton. And even though I haven't had the best of luck with any of their new items, I still look forward to what they have to come out and what Nicolas Ghesquière has in mind for the fashion house. But it'd have to be Louis Vuitton. Everyday Glam. What other designer handbags do you think hold their value as well as Chanel and Louis Vuitton? I'm going to invest in a handbag, and I would like to get back as much as I can should I ever choose to sell it. Okay, so you have Chanel and you have Louis. Obviously, Hermes has to be on there because Hermes, their items, they contain their value, or their bags contain their value. So they keep their value. So that's a major plus. I'd even say, you know who is another designer that we don't really talk about on here, but I know that we should. I mean, I've never thought about purchasing from them, but Bottega Veneta. Every time I've seen their items on a pre-loved website, they're either more than the retail price or close to the retail price, and they could be maybe anywhere from 5 to 8 years old. So I think Bottega Veneta has a very good resale. I mean, they keep their value. I'd also like to say that Dior. I think Dior, maybe not as much as the other ones do, but I think Dior also holds their resale value quite a bit. So I'd have to say Hermes, Chanel, Bottega Veneta, Dior, and then Louis Vuitton. So out of those five, I would say would be the top ones that hold their value. Okay, T-Jax. Why is the LV canvas different colors on different items? For instance, the dark brown on my Monogram Speedy 30 is lighter than the dark brown on my Monogram Pochette. And on my Monogram Key Clay, the dark brown is a shade somewhere between the two. All items are authentic, and I'm just wondering if it has to do with age, where it was made, or handling. Okay, so I actually have an example for you just to show you guys. Okay, so as you can tell, these are obviously two authentic pieces from Louis Vuitton. And you can see that the LV here is a lot more prominent on the round coin purse versus the 6-ring key holder. A lot of it has to do with, because you have these really large canvas rolls, and not all, I mean, once the rolls run out, once one roll runs out, then they start to use another one, and there's always a slight shade difference. Sometimes it's because it's just the way that the roll is. Other times it's because it depends on, you know, made in Spain versus made in France. But really it's not, it just happens that way. I know that sometimes older pieces will actually be a little bit more dull just because they have a little bit more of a fading effect to them, or they tend to fade a little bit. So that's just, I mean, it's normal wear, but I know what you mean. Excuse me. When I first, on my Demi Azur pieces is actually where I noticed it the most, because some of the Demi Azur pieces, the white background will be either, it'll look kind of like a creamy eggshell, and then on other ones it will look a lot whiter. And I was freaking out when I first started with Louis Vuitton. I'm like, oh my goodness, I bought it at the boutique, it's different colors, what if they sold me a fake? I mean, all these thoughts ran through my mind. But once I talked to the sales associate, they said that, you know, not really, no two rolls of canvas are the same, so you're going to get slight differences with them. But I know what you mean, as you can see right here. Oh, perfect lighting, check that out. This looks really dull versus this one just looks really crisp and clean. So you know, it's going to happen. But it's actually kind of fun. I would like them all to somewhat look the same, but it's really funny if you can check out your collections, especially your SLGs. If you can, take them all out, especially if you have some from a certain type of, you know, print, and then put them all together, and you will see that there are actually a lot of differences between the canvases, even if they are, you know, if you have them all made in France or all made in Spain and things like that. So just check them out. I think I might even take a picture on Instagram just to show you guys, you know, the slight differences. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Okay. In love with love. I want to start my own channel, but I'm terrified of the haters. How do you suggest I get over this fear? How do you deal with haters? Okay, so I get this question a lot, actually, and, you know, being on YouTube, on the YouTube community, it is such a fun and exciting community. You get to interact and you get to talk with so many different people from all over the world, and the best thing about it is that we all tend to talk about, you know, we all have the same thing in common. So, you know, if I'm stressed out about, you know, a bag, and, you know, if the stitching is wrong, someone else won't get that. But in that same community, they'll totally understand. So it's a really great forum to really be able to speak your mind and be your own personality. I'd have to say that when it comes to YouTube, always be yourself. There have been times when, you know, some people are one way on camera, and then when you meet them, they're totally different. So always be yourself, because if you guys were to ever meet me, I am exactly the same. I laugh a lot. I giggle a lot. I'm just what you see is what you get. There is no difference when I step out of this room and turn the camera off. So always be yourself. Now, when it comes to haters, now it's funny that you say this, because I actually had a hater that was clinging on to me like grim death last week. And you're going to get haters. When it comes to YouTube as well, you have to somewhat have a little bit of thick skin, because not everyone is going to like what you're putting out there, especially when it comes to luxury goods. There are so many people that don't really understand why we like luxury goods. They think it's a waste of money, blah, 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 blah. You'll hear that on the comments, and you will get haters. But don't feed into the trolls. That's what they want. They say these nasty things so that you can go back and waste your time on them. And the funny thing is, I laugh because they spend so much time writing negative comments or saying these mean things that it takes me literally a second to take them off of my channel. And it just makes me laugh, because especially when it comes to the ones that can't, you know, that are saying all these nasty things, and they don't even use the proper grammar. I am a grammar freak, so I don't like it. Drives me crazy, but I laugh because they're trying so hard. It's like they're going, oh, I'm gonna get you. Okay, really? I'm not gonna feed into the troll. So that's why you guys never hear me say a disclaimer on any of my videos, because it doesn't matter to me. And for any one hater that you have, there are 10 other people that really like your channel and really dig what you're saying. So just, you know, get a little bit of thick skin, because, you know, you're putting yourself out there for the world to see. But it is still a great experience, and I think you should do it. And don't worry about the haters. Haters, pfft, who cares about them? You want to focus your attention on the positive of YouTube and the great community that that we have on here, especially if it's the luxury world, the luxury goods world. Very cool place to be. Okay. Darth Diva, contemplating on buying my Holy Grail Black Caviar Maxi with gold hardware. Ooh, beautiful bag. Presently, I have 2 Holy Grails, the medium Sac de Jour and the Celine Phantom, both croc. Should I sell both to supplement the cost of the Maxi? So torn, as both pieces are hard to come by and I love them dearly. But also, I don't want to wait too long in case the Maxi becomes even more expensive. I don't have any other bags. Help me, Minnie. Also, what are your thoughts on the white multicolor? Okay, so I have a couple thoughts on this. Honestly, if both of them are your Holy Grail bags, to give you an example, I have 2 Holy Grail bags. I don't think I could ever part with them. I will sell blood before I give them up so I can supplement, or so I can get another bag. But since you said that you don't have any other bags, if you use your 2 Holy Grails and you obviously, if you use them, if you love them, I wouldn't get rid of them because you might get seller's remorse and because they are that hard to come by. What if, you know, you're happy with the maxi when you get it, and then later on you're thinking, oh man, I really should have kept the Celine because of this. I really should have kept the Sac de Jour because of this. So if you use them, if it's something that you're using and something that's not sitting on a shelf, I would keep them and maybe save money towards getting a maxi. But if you have one that you use more than the other, even though you like them both, if one of them sits on the shelf, I would get rid of the one that sits on the shelf. You know, just because, as I said before, if it sits there, it's a great piece of art. It's a beautiful bag, but you also want to be able to use the bag. And you can always go a pre-loved route if that's what, I mean, if that's something that interests you. I don't know. You know, you can always keep what you have and then find a pre-loved maxi in great condition or in excellent condition and not have to worry about having to pay that much, because the pre-loved market allows you to be able to get pretty much any bag at any point in time. So you don't have to worry too much about the price increase. Instead of paying $6,000 for it, you know, today maybe you can find one for, you know, $5,500 or $5,000 later on down the road, that is still in great condition. So what I would do, I honestly would keep both Holy Grails because I can't imagine getting rid of mine. And then I would probably go with the pre-loved route to find another one. But they're Holy Grail bags, so oh my goodness, I honestly don't know. I am super, super stumped on this because my heart's telling me if it were me, like I said, I couldn't get rid of my Holy Grails. I would figure out another way to find my third Holy Grail and have it in my collection, because then you can, you know, when you do get that maxi, then you have all three of your Holy Grails. And then, you know, since you said that you have no other bags, I just think that your collection would be perfect because you have only your Holy Grails. You know what I mean? So I honestly wouldn't get rid of them. And then maybe, like I said, start saving towards putting money towards the maxi, or I don't know. I'm so torn. But like I said, if it was me, I would find something else to do to be able to get that bag. I wouldn't get rid of my Holy Grails. No way. Okay. Next. Oh, and what are your thoughts on the white multicolor? Okay, so speaking of Holy Grails, I just thought that this was appropriate. I have a Holy Grail from Louis Vuitton, which is the Speedy 30 Multicolor Blanc. It's the bag that, I mean, even though I liked Louis Vuitton before, it pretty much fueled the fire for me to start collecting. And I love white multicolor. I am obsessed with my white multicolor. I like multicolor in general, but the white multicolor is to die for. So I thought I would share with you my Holy Grail. And here is the Speedy 30 Multicolor Blanc. I haven't used it because right now I am considering it a collector's piece. And you know what I noticed? Freaky thing. Check this out. Do you see this main pocket? On this main pocket, you guys know it's authentic. Obviously, I purchased it at the Champs-Élysées this year. The other Louis Vuittons, the other Speedies that I've seen have the LV on either side of that buckle. And I was freaking out when I found out that mine didn't have it. I Googled the crap out of this bag, trying to find, you know, is there anyone else out there that has it like this? Because everywhere I looked, I saw the LV everywhere, you know? So I'm like, oh no, what happened to my bag? I called Louis Vuitton and I asked, I said, you know what, did you guys change the design? Did you guys make this pocket smaller? What's going on? I don't see the LV. Literally freaking out with this. And she said that she's like, oh, I hadn't noticed, but they did change the design on this. And the one person that I found that has the same one. I actually found one on Fashion File that is similar to this, and I found one that actually has the LV, so obviously they're both authentic. But Trisha Paytas actually has one exactly like mine. So I was freaking out. That was pretty crappy, right? Because I didn't notice it because I was so excited about this bag, but I just thought I'd share. Like I said, I haven't used it. I love this. I know that there was, I think it was in 2005 or 2006, this bag was susceptible to, am I saying that right? I hope I am. To staining because of the Alcantara lining. So a lot of people are having problems with it yellowing, and then the transfer of the red interior. But I'm happy to say that I guess they fixed that. So now all the newer models don't have any of those problems. But love white multicolor. It's probably one of my favorites. So I just thought I'd share that bag with you guys. And the pocket, I still think it's fabulous. I still do. Especially because it's in my collection. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, to Tanya Castaro, I'm so sorry. I wanted to ask your opinion of the Japanese consignment sellers which operate via eBay. I follow a couple of them. They stipulate that they sell only authentic pre-loved items, which have been authenticated by brand experts. Is there any way of knowing for sure? Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story. You have to promise. Okay, you promise? You're not going to freak out. You can't freak out, okay? I'm just letting you know. I heard a story about it and it made me think about it. So like I said, don't freak out. Okay. So there's somebody that I know that actually purchased and it has to do with your question. So I'm not getting off topic. Okay, so she purchased a bag overseas, and before she purchased it, she actually, you can always get your items authenticated by, different online consignment shops, and they charge a nominal fee, but they also give you certificates saying that the item is authentic. So anyways, this person actually bought something overseas, and very excited to get it. It was a Keepall, 55, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, she had it authenticated before she bought it. When she received the item, she was ecstatic. And no, it's not me. So just so you guys know, she actually got it authenticated again when she received it. And both people were, yeah, it's authentic. It's great. It's a great bag. So she had to fix something. Sorry, I'm not trying to like mess with my hair too much, but my hair is going in my mouth. Okay, so before I get off track, she actually had to fix, I think there was like an interior like pull or something on the inside that she had to fix. So she took it into Louis Vuitton and she asked if she can get it repaired. The sales associate looked over it. She said, sure, no problem. She took down her information and off it went to get repaired. Not even kidding you. I think it was a week later, maybe a week and a half, Louis Vuitton called her up and they told her it was going to be like 8 weeks or 6 weeks for her to get her item back. A week and a half later, Louis Vuitton calls her and they say, can you come down to the boutique? We have your item. She's ecstatic. She's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they got it done so quickly, blah, 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 whatever. She heads down there and when she's there, the sales associate comes from behind the counter and she says, hi, can I talk to you, farther away from the main counter? Sure, all these thoughts are running through her head, right? Like I said, I'll get into this in just a second. Okay, so she's talking to the SA, and the SA says, unfortunately, we cannot fix your item. And the girl looks at her like, what do you mean? And she said, we cannot fix your item. This is not a Louis Vuitton piece. She's all, what are you talking about? I got it authenticated. I did this. She's all, I apologize, but we cannot repair your item. So I apologize for all the time that we have wasted, and please understand our perspective, our point of view, or something like that. I don't remember what they said to her, but I was floored when I heard this story. And it was actually one of my sales associates that told me this story. I was so bummed out because she got it authenticated twice. Okay, so that just goes to show that sometimes these knockoff makers are so well that they fooled two people that two people that said that the item was really authentic, and the sales associate. And I know that they can authenticate it sometimes through pictures, and I've had things authenticated before, but sometimes some will slip past the goalie, and that freaks me out because you never know. Sometimes I've had people ask me, Minnie, can you tell me if this is real? And I would love to say yes, and I would love to say no, but at the same time, I don't have the bag in front of me. I can't feel the bag. I can't hold the bag. So the worst thing would be for me to say, oh, it is authentic, and then you guys find out that it's not. So that's why I always respond, I'd love to, but I can't. So how crappy is that story, right? I was so sad for that lady, and obviously she was able to talk to the people that said that they were authentic and things like that. But it just goes to show, like I said before, some things will slip past the goalie. So It's a very, I just thought I'd share that with you guys because you never know. And obviously there's some authenticators that have worked for the companies. But again, they can't really tell 100% through pictures. You can't, you know, some people can, some people can't, but always with peace of mind, you still always have that little doubt that, you know, that item might not be authentic because there's so many people out there that are trying to take advantage. So I think if there's any way of knowing for sure, I honestly think that handling the bag, but I mean, the sales associate handled the bag, but I think people that, the craftsmen that make the bags would really know if it's authentic or not. In my opinion, that's what I think anyways, but I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay, Pally 1240. If you were to buy your daughter her first designer bag, what would it be and how old would she be? Okay, so I think for those purposes, I would want to buy my daughter the Mini HL, the Speedy, and it's funny because I had it and I sold it, but I would like to have that for me, like, you know, just if she was 2 or 3, I just think it'd be cute. Now, as far as a functional bag, something, the other one would be more decorative, like I said, for me, but something that, a functional bag for my daughter. And everyone is entitled, this isn't a knock against anyone. Everyone is entitled to raise their children their own way, even if it's imaginary children like mine. But I honestly don't think I would buy my daughter a designer bag. And the only reason is because I would want her to understand the value of hard work and working for something that you really, really like. If she wanted to do babysitting or this, that, and the other to be able to buy her first luxury handbag, then by all means go for it. But I don't want her thinking that, you know, things are easy to come by. You know, putting food in her stomach is a necessity. Putting clothes on her back is a necessity. Buying a luxury handbag is not a necessity. It is itself a luxury. So for that reason, I wouldn't do it. We had a discussion with my mom about it and she said, well, but you have designer bags. Right, I do have designer bags, but I mean, these I worked hard for. I worked my butt off for these, you know what I mean? So I would want to teach her that value, that hard work is very rewarding, and especially in the very end, it's not so much as the bag, it's the fact that you were able to work that hard for something that you really liked, and the reward is more so the fact that you were able to do that and also the item that you're getting. So whether it's a first car or your first handbag or whatever it is, I honestly wouldn't do that. That's just me. But like I said, this isn't a knock against anyone that does that. Like I said, we are all allowed to raise our children our own ways, even if they are imaginary. Okay, Lore's Hendy. If you were only going to get one Chanel as your special bag, which would you get? A walk, a mini flap, or a medium classic flap, and in which leather? Boo, one special bag. Okay, so, sorry, I don't know why this is dimming. What the heck is going on? Okay, so I think I would always stick to caviar leather. Caviar leather is my preference. Some people might say, or actually most people would say that lambskin is just a little bit more luxurious because you don't have the little pebbles throughout. But out of the 3, honestly, I would get the medium flap, and I just brought mine. I would get the medium classic flap because you get the best of both worlds. You're able to dress this up, to dress this down, and I would get gold hardware. Actually, gold hardware because I think it's just a little bit more luxurious, and you're able to still fit enough, and it's still small enough that it's not overwhelming, it's not bulky, and it's very dainty. The walk is a great item. The mini flap is another great item, but I still think they're too small, especially if this is the special bag, and if this is the only one Chanel that I would choose out of those 3, it would be this one because you have that much more versatility with this piece. So the medium large classic flap out of the 3. But they're all fabulous. Okay, Maggie Benov. I'm still saving for my first LV bag. My birthday is coming up September 1st, and I still don't know if I want my first bag to be the Eva Clutch or the Neverfull MM. What do you think? Okay, so out of the 2, the Neverfull is a little bit more of a casual bag. It's more of an everyday, they're both pretty much everyday bags, but the Neverfull is just extremely casual. You can't really, it's just a great everyday bag. The Eva clutch, depending upon, actually, even if you get the monogram or the Damier Ben, you can dress it up, you can dress it down. There's so much more versatility in the Eva clutch. But it is, I mean, it's incredibly small. So if you want something that you can put pretty much all of your items in, you can't go wrong with the Neverfull. It's just a little bit more casual than the Eva clutch. But they're both great pieces. But out of the two, for the first time, is it your first LV bag? I would go for the Neverfull, just because I mean, it's just a classic silhouette and you can fit so much in there. So you'll really get your money's worth with that one. Actually with both of them, but really the Neverfull out of the two. Loves bags. I am debating between the Chanel GST and Black Caviar or the new model Delightful in Damier Ben in the PM size. I have had my eyes on both for quite some time. My problem is the price on the GST is quite a bit more than the Delightful. I want to make sure that it's worth the extra money. What are your thoughts on the two? Which would you purchase first? Thank you kindly for your advice, and thanks as always for the great videos. Thank you. You know what? I would still pick the Chanel GST, even though they do both have their cons. Some people might say they both have their cons. Not really. I mean, and I know it's pretty much double the GST, but the GST is all leather. You just have the satin on the interior versus the Delightful, that's pretty much all canvas. So for, you know, I love the GST. Maybe it's because I'm biased because I have two of them and I really, really like it. Especially because they're not going to be making it exactly the same anymore from, obviously, we all know the rumors, but it'll have slight differences. So I would still choose a Chanel GST and Black Caviar over the new Delightful because you're getting your money's worth with the all-leather bag versus the canvas bag. So hopefully that was able to help. Even though I do like the Delightful, I think it's a great bag, but I wouldn't purchase that over the GST. Kate Coletti, which would you recommend between the Chanel GST or the Louis Vuitton Montaigne and the Empreinte Noir? Whew, this is a tough question because the Empreinte Noir, the Montaigne is actually the one that I would purchase for Empreinte. Again, both of these have their cons. The GST, some people say that it tends to sag on the sides over time. I personally haven't had that problem, but a lot of people have had that problem. And the Montaigne, obviously the embossing won't be as deep as when you first get it over time because it'll start to wear because it is all leather. But just because it comes with the shoulder strap, I wouldn't recommend the Montaigne over the GST. Like I said before, I think the GST is a great silhouette. It's a great everyday bag, and I think it's very, very comfortable. It could get heavy depending on how much you put in there, but at the same time, it's not to the point where it just knocks your shoulder off. It is a great, great bag, and I'm so happy that I have two in my collection, and I highly, highly recommend getting the GST over the Montaigne because the Montaigne will always be there. And the GST, as I said before, they might switch it up so it has some slight differences, but it's not something that you can get very easily if you go into the Chanel boutique versus the Montaigne, as I said before, will always be there. Okay, last question. Johnny CTV. I'm looking at getting a Keepall 50 for my birthday. However, I don't know if I should get the bandolier or just the standard one. I already have a shoulder strap one from Gucci. Should I get something different or stick with the added versatility of the shoulder strap? Hands down, I would say the bandolier. It is definitely worth the extra money because you can always take off the strap and use it as a regular hand carry Keepall, but it can get so heavy with, you know, depending upon how much stuff you put in there, but it is definitely get the bandolier. And even though you already have a strap on the Gucci, still you can't go wrong, as you stated on your question, with the added versatility of the shoulder or with the bandolier. So go with the bandolier. Trust me, your back, your shoulders, everything will thank you because you know, I think one of my girlfriends had a Keepall, a regular Keepall, and she had a 60 and she was putting all sorts of stuff in there, and in the beginning she's like, oh, look at me, check it out. And I think it was like 20 minutes into it, she kind of threw it and she's like, I can't even do it anymore. So I always remember that picture in my head. So go with the bandolier. You can't go wrong. All right, you guys. So that does it for Minks Monday. I think I went a little over a half an hour today just because I went into detail of some of the stories that I heard and whatnot. But this is our weekly chit chat. When else are we going to do this, right? When else are we going to sit down, have coffee or have tea or just chat like we're at a, you know, like we're talking face to face. But anyways, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.